Dr. Singh gave me this very difficult job sometime about 4 or 5 months back. And he said you should take some topic and talk about it during one of the CMEs he conducted online. So I told him I'm a bacha with regard to intermittent fasting. I'm not an expert in this, but I'll take up data on types of intermittent fasting. Move on. Cursor move on. Laptop. Okay, before I discuss with you for about 15 minutes, I must confess I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian, and whatever contents that I share with you, most of them don't have peer-reviewed references. As a medical teacher, I always believe you should talk only the things which are evidence-based. Unfortunately, whatever that I'm sharing with you, there's hardly any peer review and strong evidence. And guidelines for, say, ischemic heart disease, guidelines for coronary bypass, guidelines for diabetes, there are no rigid guidelines for types of intermittent fasting. There is absolutely no peer-reviewed reference. I'm only sharing whatever I have gone through in the internet, and also share some of my personal experiences and whatever I have heard from others. You must be wondering, what is this fasting? Can anybody define fasting, please? What is fasting? Not eating. Okay. You can drink? Huh? No calories. Okay. Anything else? Any other definitions? So not eating, not drinking, no calories. Anything else? Okay. Basically, it is abstinence. Abstinence. Keep away from all types of calories, whether it is liquid, semi-solid, or solid. Beverages, foods, everything. And this is not forced. This is voluntary. Voluntary. You must give up nirvana from food and craving. That is fasting. Now, there are several types of fasting. Fasting is almost like religion. You have Hinduism, Christianity, Jainism, Buddhism, Islam, like that. Fasting methods are many. And it depends on the cultural practices in a given area, in a given group of people, in a given community. And what type of food you take, how much you take, when do you fast, all that is different in every mode of fasting available across the globe. Like, all religions, ultimately, they want you to be good human beings. That is the motto of any religion. There is hardly any difference with regard to the ultimate aim of all these religions. Though there is so much of religious rivalry in the world, unfortunately, the ultimate aim is to be a good human being. So the ultimate aim of intermittent fasting is to be a healthy human being. The methods may vary. Before we talk about this types of intermittent fasting, I am sure all of us so far have been told, not only in literature but also in media, that breakfast is essential. Yes or no? This is the basic concept which has gone into our head. We all think if you don't have breakfast, your life cannot be normal. You can't begin the day well unless you have a healthy breakfast. This is a bloody myth of the American cornflake companies, misleading data. I mean, really, we don't need to have breakfast at all. The concept of breaking the fast is absolutely a myth. This has been used by the food manufacturing industry to pursue their interests. Second, You eat carbohydrates after 6 p.m. That is the reason for all obesity. People may say, Gunasingh was saying you should finish everything before 6 p.m. I mean, let us not be rigid about it. It's not that if you eat after 6 p.m., you'll put on fat. Ultimately, total amount matters. But time matters to some extent. I'll come to it later. And you have to eat repeatedly small meals. That is the best way and healthy way. That is again a myth. These are all three myths of the chrononutrition that we have all been told so far. With this brief introduction, let us look at different types of intermittent fasting. But if you see this article in Nature Review, basically intermittent fasting, there are three types. One is alternate day fasting. Second is time restricted eating. Third is 5-2 diet. 5-2 diet. 5-2 diet. Okay. These are the three main types of intermittent fasting. Let us take each of them one by one. Alternate day fasting. It's like some of the munis who eat alternate days only. That is, you fast for 24 hours, alternate days. Fast means it is not total fasting. You can take up to 500 kilocalories, right? You can take some fruits, a little bit of nuts, a little bit of milk, 500 calories on one day. The remaining day, you eat whatever you want. So it is basically alternate days. Okay. Not very easy. Not at all very easy for somebody to follow. Second is 5-2 diet. That is, 5 days you eat whatever you want. 2 days you fast. 2 days per week. And on the fasting days, it's not complete fasting. You take water and you take up to 500 to 1000 kilocalories. 1000 kilocalories. And third group is the time restricted eating. Time restricted eating. This is the intermittent fasting which Gunasingh is trying to promote. Where you have an eating window of 8 hours. Gunasingh is having an eating window of 8 hours. And you have a fasting window of 16 hours, 16 to 8. These are the three types. Amongst this, the most difficult is the alternate day fasting. Medium difficulty is there in 5-2. And time restricted eating is what is most practical, most feasible. And if you look at the Google, several types of intermittent fasting have been described. In fact, I searched and got only 11 types ultimately. 11 types. 12:12, 14:8, 16:8, 18:6, 20:4, OMAD, 1 meal a day, random meal skipping, 5:2, alternate day fasting, 24-hour fast, eat method, 36-hour fast. It's called Akama fast. So 11 types of intermittent fasting are available for us. Let us look at each of them and look at the merits and demerits. Perhaps the simplest and the most practical method of intermittent fasting is 12-hour fasting. 12-hour fasting. This is the easiest one to do. Easiest one to do. Overnight, you have your dinner at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock and don't eat for the next 12 hours. This is for a beginner. This is the kindergarten for those who want to attempt intermittent fast. Somebody who has not, if there is somebody in the audience who has never had experience in intermittent fasting, start this today. 12 hours, don't eat anything. Drink water alone. Right? You go to sleep, get up. And you can have 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This will look like anybody's normal schedule. Only thing is, like Gunasingh is saying, you can't be snacking. During the remaining 12 hours, you can't be eating all sweets and all junk food, chips, etc. as you wish. Restricted eating. And it is recommended for beginners. It is for people like me. See, I'm not obese. Okay, I nearly have the ideal body weight. My waistline is okay. For me, even a 12-hour fasting should be okay, provided I eat properly during the remaining 12 hours, right? But at the same time, we can feel the benefits of intermittent fasting. It improves overall health, and combined with exercise, it definitely helps in diseases like diabetes. Okay. I would say amongst the audience, only around 20% will qualify to have this 12-hour fasting here, as I see your body profile in the audience. And the next one, a little more difficult, 14:10 fasting. 14:10 fasting. So you fast for about 14 hours. 14 hours. For example, Gunasingh has always been saying you finish everything before sunset. So 6 o'clock or 6, 7 o'clock, our doctors are practicing 8 o'clock. Say 8 p.m., 6, 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. you stop. Next 14 hours, you don't take anything except water. Next 14 hours. This is again very easy. You can eat 2 meals or 3 meals during your eating window. If you are going to eat 3 meals, keep the gap shorter, because if you have a long gap between 2 meals, your hunger is likely to be more. You may end up eating more. If you have a short gap of 3 meals, you may end up eating less calories. Again, for beginners, women, particularly around the menopausal period, they may have other problems. Ideal is to start with something like 14:10 fasting. It's very, very easily done. Main benefits, it does facilitate weight loss, easy to implement, very simple, very simple. So you can start with 12 to 10 this week. Maybe after 2 weeks, go to 14:10. 16:8. 16:8. Gunasingh was talking about 18:6, 16:8, and this is what I am practicing without much difficulty, without stress, without strain, with good sleep, good appetite in between. Okay, 16:8. This is not Arichuvadi. This is probably +2, slightly higher difficulty. You must have some experience in fasting before you do it. You can't do it. In fact, people who have never attempted should not attempt today. And it is preferred for somebody like me who has normal weight, or somebody who's slightly overweight. Excellent method of losing weight. Insulin resistance definitely is overcome. In fact, I am 100% sure if you start with 16:8, over 6 months, your HbA1c will come down at least by 0.5 to 0.75. 100%. There is absolutely no doubt at all. And it is believed that anything beyond 12 hours fasting, particularly 16 hours fasting, will improve autophagy. That's what Gunasingh was talking about, will prevent cancer. Certainly, it does help. So before 12 p.m., you should not be taking any milk or sugar. We have all been told, when you use the term coffee, in India, coffee is always with milk. In the West, coffee means it is only coffee decoction. No milk. In fact, you will have to tell them, if you want coffee with milk, you will have to tell them latte, cappuccino, something like that. So if you ask only for coffee, you will get only black coffee. Of course, for me also, I'm a coffee addict. Yeah, for me, I can't live without coffee. If I don't take my morning coffee, I will die. I can't even walk. I'm so much used to caffeine. And sometimes during my hours of work, if my caffeine levels dip, your mood is gone. So you need to pep up your mood with repeated boluses of caffeine. And slowly I got over this craving for milk. Nowadays I take only American coffee, black coffee. No milk is added, no sugar is added. Again, you will start enjoying the flavor. What you should do, if somebody wants to stop drinking coffee without milk or sugar, what you should do, I'll tell you from today, you first start smelling the coffee. I don't know. you go to the net, or sometimes you go to Scotland on a visit. These fellows will take you to those whiskey factories. And they will say, when the whiskey is being made, music will come. That's what they will say. Okay. And they will ask you to smell the whiskey like that. You should smell the coffee and start loving the smell of coffee, loving the smell of black coffee, loving the smell of coffee without milk, without sugar. It will take some time. Maybe somebody who does not like coffee can always try tea, black tea. Because 12 to 8, eating window, you eat whatever you want. Whatever you want. Guna Singh was saying you should be very strict. I think for 16/8 fasting, even if somebody wants to eat a lot, it's not possible. In fact, yesterday I went for Dr. Lakshmi's son's wedding. Fantastic lunch. I had not taken any food for 19 hours. I thoroughly enjoyed the lunch. I finished everything that was kept on the leaf. And I'm not going to put on weight. Because after that, so not yesterday, day before yesterday, sorry, Friday. So Friday night, I took only tender coconut water and one slice of bread and half a piece of paneer. That's all I took. And of course, Goa, koya 2 koya palms. That's all. So it's not necessary to restrict too much during the feasting window if you are going to practice 16/8 fasting. And studies have shown definitely this helps in weight loss, helps in insulin resistance, inflammation, autoimmune diseases are prevented, colitis, chronic colitis, rheumatoid arthritis, SLE, you might be able to prevent. And the biggest advantage, which Guna Singh also stressed, unlike the calorie restricted eating, here you will still maintain the muscle mass. You won't end up losing your muscles. You will only lose fat when you have 16/8 fasting. Autophagy definitely will start. Next is 18 hours fasting. That's for veterans like Guna Singh. Okay, I do it once in about, say, 15 days, 20 days. But for which I get a lot of scolding from my wife. Okay. Sometimes due to some CME or something, I get delayed. I may have my lunch at 3 o'clock. I'll get 7 phone calls. Why are you starving? That's what my wife will shout at me. But I tell her it's good only. So you can once in a while extend it to 18 hours. And the advantage is that in 6 hours, how much one can eat? You can't eat much. In fact, if you have a very good lunch at about 2:30, you can have a dinner before 9 o'clock once more well. 14 hours versus 10, again, intermediate. It is very much possible, very easy. The next is 1 meal a day. This is difficult. This is not for amateurs like me. This is for veterans like Guna Singh, only Guna Singh. In fact, up and down. Okay, I attempted it. I can tell you it's not very easy. But I'm not going to give up. Maybe in the next 1 year, I'm going to try to find out if at least once in 10 days I can do 1 meal a day. But then, look at this fellow. Who's this? Rishi Sunak. Okay, the Punjabi who has become Prime Minister of UK. He practices 1 meal a day, I believe. He takes only black coffee. He takes only 1 meal a day. And of course, he doesn't drink alcohol, right? And he goes to the gym. And he says, there are 2 reasons why I am following 1 meal a day. One is that he doesn't have time to eat. Okay, he has money, but he doesn't have time to eat. Second is, look at his waistline. His pant size will be lesser than Guna Singh, 28 size. Doesn't have any fat at all. The secret is 1 meal a day. You eat only once and eat whatever you want. Whatever you want. Of course, it all depends on your choice. Guna Singh said you should not eat before 6 o'clock. It's not possible. You can have one dinner at 8 o'clock in the night also. No difference. Ideally, 1 meal will be the lunch. You have a fasting time of around 23 hours. And It is for people with a lot of experience and people like Rishi Sunak who doesn't have time to eat. Excellent weight loss method. Definitely you will overcome diabetes. Autophagy will definitely start, but it's not easy. I don't know how many of you have ever tried one meal a day. Okay, only one person. There's one more madam. Madam has tried. Yes, Sukumar, of course, veteran. He's almost a yogi, right? So one meal a day. I'm trying to do it. Not very easy. Let me see. The next is eat, stop, eat. Very similar. You fast for about 24 hours from one meal to the same meal the next day, lunch to lunch. The main difference is that you do it only once or twice a week. Like Rishi Sunak, he does it every day, one meal a day. This eat, stop, eat, you can try 2 or 3 days a week. Again, this is for veterans. Not possible daily. Excellent benefits are there. The next is alternate day fasting. Alternate day fasting. Here you achieve a fasting time of 36 hours. I think most of us can't practice this. Very effective. The next is modified alternate day fasting. It's like alternate day fasting where individuals can take approximately 500 calories on their fasting days and eat well on the eating days. Remember, this is recommended only for people with experience and who want to lose weight, who want to reverse diabetes, and the benefits are well proven. 5:2 fasting, again, difficult for professionals like us who work, not very easy. It may be possible for IT industry people who stop working on Friday morning itself, right? Not for medical professionals who are very busy on Saturdays, unfortunately. You eat for 5 days, but you fast continuously for 2 days. When you say fasting, it's about 500 calories per day. 500 calories means, Gunasingh is saying approximately 8 idlis. 8 idlis. And if you take more chutney, it will come down to 6 idlis. And you should have experience to do it. You should have much hard work on those 2 days of fasting. The next is intuitive intermittent fasting or spontaneous meal skipping. That is whenever suddenly you should decide, I'm not taking dinner today. Suddenly you should decide, I'm not taking lunch today. I know people who attempt, they'll say simply, I'm not taking, right? My father used to do it. I don't know, in this very same Kanchi Kamakodi Children's Hospital, necessary that we should mention about the Kanchi Paramacharya, Chandrasekhara Saraswati. I believe he will simply stop eating for 2-3 days. Take only water. In fact, there is actually a real incident where one of his devotees was coming from US and he was fasting for 24 hours because he wanted to see His Holiness on empty stomach. The flight got delayed and His Holiness got up at 2 o'clock in the night and asked his cook to prepare rice upma. And the cook was astonished. Why is this man asking for rice upma which he will never eat? He said, it's my order, you cook. The rice upma is ready at 4 o'clock. This man came straight from Chennai airport. The moment this man entered to see His Holiness, he said, first go eat rice upma and come. I believe he knew that this man was starving. Okay. On the other hand, he was starving continuously for 4 days. And his daily food was only puffed rice, puri. And later he switched to banana powder. That's all he took. He lived like that beyond 100 years. He never had B12 deficiency. He never had vitamin D deficiency. His brain was sharper than all of us. So you can, somebody, yogis, in all religion, you will find people skipping meals like that and living healthily and happily with normal intelligence. Last is extended or prolonged intermittent fasting, 48 hours. Very difficult. Maybe Gunasingh can try. Other types are there, 24 version, 13 hours, etc. You can also mix and match, like, sari blouse combination. Okay. 1 week you can do 12-hour fasting, 1 week you can do 16 hours, 1 week you can do 5:2, like that. You can mix and match also. And Guna Singh mentioned something about circadian rhythm fasting. Literature has shown that fasting works very well if you fast between 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., where your cortisol, all of us know that the cortisol levels are high during sleep. It is better to starve during that. It is better not to give food between 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. In fact, for me, it is very difficult because I practice up to 8 o'clock. For doctors, it may be difficult. But others who finish their work by 5 o'clock, it's better to stop eating by 6 p.m. Maybe you can start eating early, but stop eating at 6 p.m. And it is a very effective method of reducing calories, and your appetite will be less if you restrict the eating period between 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Your metabolism is better, your insulin levels are better. What do you do if you feel hungry? Let me hear any suggestions. What do you do? You're starting intermittent fasting and you find that you are extremely hungry. What do you do? Eat. No, but 16:8, Guna Singh has said you should have intermittent fasting. What do you do? Pardon? Water, black tea, black coffee. Okay. Now, the best. Pardon, sir?
Prana Mudra. It will reduce hunger.
Excellent.
This Prana Mudra is,
Yeah, Rajinikanth. Okay. There are many ways you can overcome the hunger during periods of fasting. Okay. The simplest method is water. I don't know. None of you brought water bottle. Only I brought my water bottle because today morning, 6 o'clock, I had my exercise for about 45 minutes. To be very honest, I was feeling very thirsty. The moment you drink water itself kills the appetite. The simplest method is drinking water, adequate water. The next most healthy option is, this is not vodka, it's only lemon juice. Lemon juice, okay, with mint. In fact, you will get a very nice taste. Okay, somebody like me, I love this with mint and a little bit of salt. Sugar should not be added, honey should not be added. That's what you should drink this. There are many alternatives which include suku coffee, black coffee, lemon tea, black tea, all without sugar. But I can tell you the tastiest and the most satisfying one is lemon juice with mint. And good lemon, one full lemon, it provides you also the daily requirement of your vitamin C. Doesn't add any calories, right? Of course, there are other teas, herbal teas available without honey, without sugar. You can try that. Remember, there is no single eating window which suits everybody. You don't have to have a rigid schedule. It actually causes stress in you. No, 16:8. Guna Singh has told 16:8 you must practice, 18:6. No, there's no need. You can choose any combination. And in fact, it is said that you keep your body guessing. Don't do the same thing. It is like shirt or pant. You don't wear the same color shirt or pant. You keep on changing. So the regimen you keep on changing. You keep your body guessing. It helps better. And you should choose one that suits you. You must choose the appropriate regimen according to your lifestyle. Late night eating episodes should be controlled. Controlled eating approach is required. Minimum 12 hours window fasting is required. You must be aware of your boundaries and restrictions. Drink plenty of water, listen to your body, maintain in a record. Indications and contraindications. First, I'll talk about contraindications. Below 12, adolescents who are normal in weight, women who are pregnant or lactating, people who have a history of eating disorder, bulimia, anybody with a BMI of below 18.5. I think Gunasingh's BMI is less than 18.5. But theoretically, it's a contraindication for wait. No, wait. I'm coming to it. No, this is reference based. This is science based. See, you should take medical opinion before starting. That's why I put it. Individuals above 70 years, like me, of course, I started intermittent fasting before I turned 70. That is different. But above 70, please take a medical opinion before doing intermittent fasting. Right?
Who knows about it?
Yeah. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, I'm coming to that. And contraindications are only this. After 70 years, your physician should declare you to be fit. For example, after 70 years, you may have so many other problems. And you take I'm not saying contraindicated means contraindicated without a good medical opinion. Relative contraindication. It's not an absolute contraindication. That's all. Okay, right. And starting, of course, start with 1 to 2 weeks. Increase your fiber intake, increase your fruit intake. And there is one problem for vegetarians like me. Gunasingh is a staunch non-vegetarian. He says you should take 40 grams of meat. How many of you are vegetarians here? Okay. I think quite a few are vegetarians here. For somebody like me, it's very, very difficult for a vegetarian to have a high protein diet. The normal, good, tasty vegetarian food is only full of carbohydrates. That's something which you have to accept. To increase protein intake, vegetarians are at a loss. For example, I'll tell you, the best sources of protein for vegetarians are from paneer, tofu, nuts. And how many of us consume paneer, tofu, and nuts regularly? Only in the last 1 year, I have started taking paneer. In fact, whenever I go to any North Indian restaurant where my full family used to like all those paneer, etc., I used to keep the paneer away. I never liked this paneer. Now, I take tofu, I take paneer, I take avocado. I changed my concept. So, for vegetarians, please concentrate on taking more proteins in the form of paneer, tofu, nuts. And take good quality fats like ghee and avocado. So, some of you, I don't know, some of you may be used to taking alcohol. Alcohol is not completely contraindicated for intermittent fasting. Okay, but at the same time, I'm not advocating alcohol, but I'm just saying you can take in moderation. Of course, it depends on it. It also, moderation means what? Only 2 pegs. 2 pegs. Okay, that's all is allowed. And preferably, it is better not to take drinks like beer and wine. They have more calories than vodka or whiskey. And you should monitor, if you are above 70, definitely you should monitor the adverse effects which can develop, which include B12, vitamin D deficiency, hyponatremia, and you may be taking other medications which have to be monitored. Stopping, Gunasingh said you never stop, but if you reach a BMI of 18.5, you can stop, get back to normalcy, and of course should not put on weight. It's better to continue at least 14 or 16 hour fasting to maintain the weight. Okay. So to sum up, many methods are there. All of you should start intermittent fasting from today. Start with at least 12-hour fasting. And the bottom line is that generally, culturally, we have all been told you have to take 3 meals a day. That is wrong. Marketing has to be stopped. You should switch to intermittent fasting. Initially, there may be some difficulties. They will disappear in one month. Most physicians today, no criticism of physicians, which includes pediatricians also, We are not trained to provide specific intermittent fasting. Take help from Appandiraj or Dr. Gunasingh. And the patient should be asked to switch out intermittent fasting gradually. And finally, if there is a will, there is a way. Thank you. Any questions?
The question இருக்கா?
I have obesity plus diabetes. I started with metformin, 500. Now I have graduated to 1 gram twice a day, sustained release. I am also on duaglutide injection once a week, which increases the secretion of insulin and prevents the breakdown of glycogen to glucose to prevent the increase in the intravascular glucose concentration. So I am successful up to 14/10. I have brought down my HbA1c from 7.8 to 7.2. Beyond that, I'm finding it difficult. I've had duodenal ulcer when I was very early. Now there is no ulcer. So the duration of fasting, I couldn't do more than 14 hours. Maximum is 14 hours. I just wanted to take your, because you said above 70 with specific health problems, you should get the advice of the physician to get. So,
okay, now, a very interesting personal experience. Now, two things. Of course, with due respects to Gunasingh's views, there is one thing in Google and one thing in literature. In fact, I went through a lot of data on intermittent fasting versus calorie restricted eating. Today, because sir is there as a physician, there is no strong evidence to say that intermittent fasting is superior to calorie restricted eating or calorie restricted eating is superior to intermittent fasting. Both are equally effective. Equally effective. So today, somebody in the audience might say, why should I listen to Gunasingh? I don't have to do intermittent fasting. I can restrict my calories and do it. It is very much possible. Current medical evidence suggests, sir, you will know better, sir. Current medical evidence shows, yeah, both calorie restricted eating and intermittent fasting are equally effective. The only problem is execution. The government married. They'll put a plan, but they may not execute it. So in intermittent fasting, the plan is easier to execute at a personal level than calorie restricted eating. But for somebody like you, I don't know, sir will guide you. Somebody like you who finds it difficult to have intermittent fasting,